Welcome back. It is another episode of Pardon the Punctuation. Not even sure if you got my welcome back with the live ticker in the corner, but maybe we did, maybe we didn't.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I looked up and it was like going after I said back. So,
my side said it worked.
well, good. In any case, this is another episode of Pardon the Punctuation. As always, I am Aaron Smith, guiding this ship along, joined by the self-proclaimed best producer in the city, Ed Mayhall. Jeff, hopefully, will be joining us tonight. We'll see. But how was your trip to Philly? For the Temple game.
No, I did not go to the Temple game. It's a nice area. Prince of Persia, I think, is the area that I was in. It's a nice area, some nice restaurants, but not any place I'll be going back to anytime soon by choice.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, our power provider decided it apparently was scheduled, and they did not make a call as they did on Saturday when they turned the power off on Saturday. So today it was turned off from 9 to 3, which if I had an entire refrigerator full of Thanksgiving stuff here, if we had been hosting, I'd be furious. Instead, I just had a screaming child with no way to warm a bottle.
So they didn't warn you guys at all?
Nope. We got a phone call on Friday or Thursday last week that Saturday was turning off. So I at least had the heads up to, hey, go to Cincinnati early because you have all 3 kids and Rachel's working, and we'll meet you in Cincinnati after the fact. Today had no warning.
That's wild. Like, beginning of pandemic, like the first week that we were all in lockdown, like they told us they were going to shut off our electricity. And I'm like, that's probably a bad choice because everybody's working from home. Or no, not electricity, our water. So I went out and bought bottles of water, but they told us. It is what it is, I guess. At least you made the best out of it and you didn't have all that food in the freezer. One year I was smoking a turkey for Thanksgiving, for Friendsgiving, and the electricity went out right after, like 5 minutes after the smoke was done. Could you imagine how bad that would have been?
I can't.
Two turkeys in the smoker. That was dinner. We had all the sides still, and then so it
wasn't just 2 turkeys at all because you had sides also.
Well, sure, we could have just ate the sides, but the main course is the turkey.
I mean,
but anyways,
some people don't eat meat, Ed.
Some people don't eat meat. That's a fair statement. I mean, I can't. I can't.
In any case, let's get to the thing we don't want to talk about. Let's talk UC hoops.
Aren't I? Just go. Just go to it.
Okay. So Cincinnati is in Maui. And yes, John, we are going to let you vent on UC hoops tonight. They're in Maui. Last night, tip-off was after 11:30, probably closer to midnight.
Yeah.
They lose to Arizona, 101-93. Today, they lose to Ohio State. That one hurt a bit more, in my opinion. But they lose to Ohio State 81-53. And Maui's not looking so good right now for the Cincinnati Bearcats.
You never want to lose to Ohio State. You never want that team up north to have anything on you because they are insufferable. And I cannot deal with any of that.
You're also set up now for a game against Louisville. And if you drop the ball against Louisville, you
can't drop the ball against Louisville.
You are looking at Louisville's first win.
We better play like we played last night against Louisville. Is that tomorrow night?
Yeah.
What time? 11:30?
I don't know the answer to that.
Maybe a late night game.
Was just talking with Chad about this on the nightcap, Ed, but in today's game, after Landers Nolly scored 33 last night,
Yep.
in today's game, he goes 1 for 6, 0 for 3 from 3, no free throws, had 4 rebounds, 3 fouls, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, 2 points. 26 minutes played.
Did he waste it all last night?
That's a great question. I know I brought it up in our group chat. I brought it up with Chad after the show this morning around 2:30.
You guys did a nightcap last night at 2:30.
Content doesn't stop, Ed.
Would have waited till the morning.
Yeah, I wouldn't have had power.
You got a phone.
Last night Davenport had 10 Davenport had 10 points. Today he had 8 points. But DeJulius had 9 points last night. Today he goes 28 minutes, 0 for 5 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3, 1 for 2 from the line, finishes with 1 point, 1 rebound, 1 turnover.
Victor Lockton was the only person in double digits tonight. And Victor Lockton, he has whatever. He has flashes. There's points where he remembers that he's a big man and that he could just tower over these guys and that he gets that nice little hook shot going. And then there's points where he's thinks he's as tall as I don't know, a short guy on the team. You know what I mean? He has flashes. I need him to put it all together. But I think over the last few games, he has started to put it all together. What do you think about Victor?
I don't know. I mean, he's basically a sophomore, a redshirt sophomore. I mean, he is. He's probably he's certainly the best big on the team. In the post-game presser, apparently Wes Miller hinted that it may be time to take the red shirt off Sage already.
Oh,
because if you take Locken out,
you got nobody.
The drop off is tremendous.
Kalu is not what we thought he was.
Kalu is not a dude.
You told me he was the next Jason Maxiel.
I did not ever say that. Thank you very much.
Oh, you did. I have receipts.
I do not believe that.
We'll see. I'll find the receipts.
You won't. That does not exist. Jason Maxiel, you're crazy.
Was it Eric Hicks then? Is that what you said? You said one of those guys.
I had never seen him play.
You made me pull up a YouTube video and you said, hey, that's the next Eric Hicks, Jason Maxiel.
I don't call people the next. You're crazy.
Okay. All right.
You're crazy.
I'll find the receipts. If Jeff was here, he would agree with me.
I don't believe that either.
Okay.
Freshmen look better and more talented than our veterans. I agree. I think that it may be time to end this horrible experiment at the 1 and slide DeJulius back to point guard, especially if you're only going to be producing 9 points, 1 point anyway. Get Dan in at the 2, Nolly in at the 3, maybe Josh Reed at the 4, Vic at the 5.
Josh Reed has looked good. So I did not know Josh Reed, I guess, chose not to redshirt. Is there a reason why? He just didn't agree? Okay. All right. I didn't know if you had some sort of knowledge behind that.
I think it became apparent that this team is going to have some spots for guys to get minutes. And if you want to play, I mean, today he had 16 minutes in the game against Ohio State. Skillings had 19 minutes. I agree. Reed looks promising. His spin move that he had today, it's fast.
Very nice.
It's fun. And I don't want to watch another game like I watched today. I'm over these announcers in Maui. I'm over 75 different lines with the volleyball court in Maui.
There are a lot of lines in that court.
Yeah.
There's 3 different 3-point lines, and I'm guessing one is NBA, one is college men's and one is college women's.
I would assume that to be the case as well. I don't think college and does high school have a smaller 3-point line than college?
Maybe not. I don't think so.
I didn't think so either. So yeah, I guess it would be women's, men's, and NBA. But
And
I don't
then
know.
the floral pattern inside the paint. I'm over that.
There's a lot happening on that floor.
You know, Michelle and I were flipping through the TV on Saturday night or something like that, and the Oregon Ducks were on. That court is the worst court in all of college basketball.
Reagan, yes.
Thank you, Reagan, for agreeing. It is. They have that. It makes it look. They're trying to make it look like it's in a duck blind or something, but it's just so distracting. It's the worst court in all of college basketball, I believe.
So I don't know. It's maddening to watch a team that I think we all believed had a little bit more promise than what we've seen thus far.
Especially after last night.
It seems that getting it correct in the transfer portal on bigs, especially, is a far more daunting task than anyone has given any credence to. Like, I mean, that's a very difficult thing to do, finding bigs in the transfer portal.
So there's been a lot of talk on Facebook and Twitter tonight about Wes Miller. What are your thoughts on Wes Miller right now? Like,
how are you going to fire him when he still doesn't even have all his own guys?
Thank you. That's what I keep saying too. Like, he's still playing with John Brennan guys. He's still talking. Yeah. He's still like, he still has Micah Adam Woods on the team. He still had, although Micah looked decent tonight. But like, it's, I can't say to move away from a guy or that a guy's not going to be a successful coach, especially when he has the coaching history behind him, backing him. He can go call whatever his name is, his name always escapes me whenever I want to talk about him. The former UNC coach.
Roy Williams?
Yeah, thank you. He can call him at any time. Like, he's like almost like a life mentor to him, right? He will figure this out. I don't think he wants. I think he's just listening.
Oh, okay.
He will figure this out. He will put his players together. It took. I mean, let's go back to Luke Fickell again. It took him a couple years. And now look at him. It took Mick Cronin a couple years. Now look at him. Well, let's actually not use Mick Cronin as an example after this week. But I mean,
but by the time he finished at UC, he was.
Yeah,
he had quite a successful run for sure. Yeah, Jacob, I agree. I think Wes is going to do great things moving to the Big 12, and that will help recruiting. But right now, you're still where you are. Like, you have to play the hand that you're dealt, and right now we're not in the Big 12 until next season. So obviously, Jizzle and Rayvon make you better next year.
Rayvon was on ESPN Plus tonight.
Jizzle and Rayvon will make you better next year. And it'll be extremely, I'm very curious just to see what happens in the transfer portal after this year. See what guys are done, as there's still guys that have eligibility left. Or if there's no room going into the Big 12 because they weren't your guys, like, you let them finish out a senior year, and it doesn't mean you have to let them finish out a super senior year here.
It's true.
So I don't know.
I think this comment reigns true. It hurts the most. This team looks nothing like a UC team. There's no identity, just hero ball, hope we are hot. This team doesn't have an identity right now. Like, it doesn't have an offensive identity. Like, we're not an offensive team and we're not a defensive team. We're just kind of a middle of the road team. Now, could that change? Yeah, it could absolutely change. Get a couple more practices in. Have Wes yell at a couple people. Hopefully it changes before the Xavier game. Well, hopefully it changes before the Louisville game.
Hopefully it changes before the Louisville game.
I don't want to lose tomorrow, but hopefully it changes against the Xavier game. So
yeah, losing to all of them would be not fun.
It'd probably be the worst.
So I have a question on that. looks terrible.
Yeah, put a hat on.
I have a question on that front, the identity front, right?
Okay.
So if you're going to be like an offensive team, right? What do you need to do that? You need some
Rebound.
really good offensive players,
Yeah.
Score
right?
points.
Like guys that can really put the ball in the basket.
We need to play that score points offense that we played in the first game.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a defensive-minded team, what do you need?
Guys to play defense.
Some really good defensive players, some guys that really get after it on the defensive end, right?
Right.
If you're going to be a toughness, physical, rebounding team, what do you need to do that?
Guys that will actually rebound the ball.
And
Tall
have
guys.
some toughness, like tall guys, physical
maybe go
guys.
to two hands instead of
They don't have to
batting
be tall, Aaron. They don't have to be tall. Eric Hicks wasn't
rebound.
tall.
Fair
Jason
enough.
Maxiell wasn't tall. Trey Scott wasn't necessarily tall. Gary Clark wasn't necessarily tall.
I miss Trey Scott.
But they were guys that got after it. You know what this team doesn't have?
Guys that get after it.
So is some of that on Wes Miller because he's brought some of these players into his program. Yeah, sure. But again, this is a roster that was overhauled 4 times in 4 years. Mick Cronin's been gone for 4 years, okay? It was overhauled John Brannon's first year, and then the Cumberlands left, and
Trey.
Yeah, Trey left, the Cumberlands left, and then the second year, like Keith Williams left. And like it's been a constant state of turmoil. Then John left, and we know what happened after that year. And then last year, you still had a bunch of turnover where you had to replace a bunch of guys again.
Well, again, last year he had 30 days to put a team together.
But I'm talking about like into this season,
Yeah.
You still had half of the team that you replaced going into the season. You had 3 transfers, you had 3 freshmen, you get 13 guys. There's 6 new guys. 4 years in a row, there's been at least 6 new guys on this roster from the year prior. What that stunts is leadership. What that stunts is sweat equity. Guys that are bought in and all in on what being a Bearcat is about. You have 2 of those guys right now. Jeremiah Davenport and Mike Adams-Woods. And they came in as freshmen under John Brannon. Listen to what I'm saying, Ed.
Right.
They've been here their whole career. They're not transfers in. These are guys that committed to Cincinnati out of high school and have been here the whole time. And they're seniors.
Okay.
Do you get the sense those guys are the leaders? Like,
No.
Okay.
DDJ is the leader. Last night, Nolly was the leader.
No. You're talking about leading scorer. I'm talking about Desmond Ritter, Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
The leaders.
DDJ then. DDJ, the only one.
I don't think he is. Aaron and I talked about this a little bit. I think I think David DeJulius is a great guy. I think he's about the right things. But I don't know that he's the guy that's like, look, motherfuckers, we're not losing tonight. Right? Like
DDJ.
I don't think that's him. And I think Landers could probably be that guy, but he's been here for like 3 months, 4 months. So does he have the equity to be that guy? So who is holding people accountable in the locker room? Who is saying what happened at Northern here? Like, this is a perfect example, I think. Hold on. What happened at Northern was unacceptable. That is not who we are. Okay? So they show up in Maui, and that's how they played yesterday against Arizona. But it's not how they played today. Today they got their ass kicked, they got bullied, they got embarrassed, and they got humiliated. And I didn't see anyone that was like, I'm not about that. This isn't what being a Bearcat is about.
Right. It's not Bearcat
Eric
ball,
Hicks,
but
Eric Hicks almost killed
Yeah, we hear the stories.
Jihad
Right?
Muhammad and James White for like not, like that year, the Andy Kennedy year, where they were academically ineligible at the start of the NIT or whatever. Who is that guy? I agree it would have been John Newman. That's been my point all along about John Newman is that was a massive loss for this team. But here we are.
So
I also wonder how much Davenport tries to do that in the locker room and how seriously
not him.
And how seriously he's taken when he does it.
If I'm one of the players who goes back on, yeah. So Aaron said something at the beginning that Wes said tonight that it might be time to take the red shirt off of.
Yeah, I told Aaron that earlier on the nightcap.
Yeah. Off of what's his face? I can't think of his name right now. Thank you, Sage. Does he do that while they're in Hawaii?
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Look,
he's been dressed.
You can't lose to Louisville tomorrow. You can't lose to Louisville tomorrow. If you lose to Louisville tomorrow,
your program's in shambles.
This thing is teetering on the brink. Straight up.
Michael, you related to Dana at all?
We went through this last night, Ed.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That's Michael Beers is the only reason Dana Beers ended
up on the show,
the BBP last night. Because somebody was like, Dana was in the chat. Fake John Goebel was like, Dana was in the chat. And then Aaron eventually was like, no, that was Michael Beers, not Dana Beers.
That's funny.
DDJ has wilted since NKU. Look, guys have bad games. Or a bad stretch of games, whatever. Tonight was here's the most predictable thing about that, right? There's not a bunch of guys, we just talked about it. There's not a bunch of guys on this team that are prolific offensive threats. Vic, we're starting to see blossom into a guy you can throw the ball and get a bucket.
Yeah.
But on the wing, it's DeJulius, Nolly, Davenport. If two of those guys combine for 3 points, this team is going to get its ass kicked. It doesn't matter who they play.
That's why I told you.
You're not confident against Louisville. Jesus Christ, what are we doing?
That's why I told you in the nightcap though. I want to see different rotations. I want to see, and I think you agree, Chad. You mentioned getting Dan upwards of 25 minutes. I mentioned getting Josh upwards of 20 minutes as opposed to the 19...
I want to see them built to that. Yeah. I don't know. I'm never a fan of just
throwing them
giving
out there
it
like
to
that.
them.
Right.
But if they earn it, if they continue to earn it, now what they both need to do, Aaron, they both need to continue to show they can score in those minutes.
Well, and Dan had 7 in 19 tonight, which honestly was twice as much as Landers and DeJulius combined. One shy of Jeremiah Davenport's whopping 8.
And Aaron, let's not forget this. 6 of Jeremiah Davenport's points came in the first minute. He had 2 threes in the first 90 seconds. He scored 2 points the rest of the game. So for 38 minutes, your 3 best players scored 5 fucking points.
Yeah, 7.
That's why you got your ass kicked.
7 was good enough for 4th best points on this team, and that was both Dan Skillings and Odio Guama. And the 3 people ahead of him were Vic, Mike Adams-Woods, and Jeremiah Davenport. And I would have never guessed that you wouldn't see Landers or DeJulius in the top 5 in a game. Period.
That'll maybe work when you're playing East Bumfuck Tech. But if you're playing Ohio State and Maui,
that's a great point, Darren. On technical free throws.
Yes, 2 of those. Yeah, his 2 points after those first 2 threes. Oh my God! How did I not catch this, Darren?
I don't.
How did it not register that he hit 2 threes in the first 90 seconds, and the only 2 points he scored the rest of the way were the technical free throws?
Well played, Darren.
flopping.
For flops.
If they would have kept giving us those calls, we could have come back.
For flops. That happened twice, and Jeremiah shot both of those. You're right. Holy shit. I want to cuss more.
It's a mess. I don't know what we're doing.
Do you think tonight's loss is harder to take because we played so tough? I know we didn't win last night, but we played so tough last night that makes tonight's loss just even harder to take.
I think it was the fact that you were 8 points within 8 by the final buzzer against an Arizona team who's nationally ranked and really good.
Right.
They also
I will say no.
Don't play defense.
I will say no.
Why not?
I will think this is much tougher to take because they got their ass kicked by a Northern Kentucky team that is fucking dreadful.
They pulled out of the stops for that game, though, from what I heard.
Ed, they got beat by 20 last night by Florida Gulf Coast, and they lost by 4 today against UT Arlington.
I'm not gonna lie. I was flipping through channels, not last Saturday, but the Saturday before, and I saw, I guess it was on ESPN Plus. It was the NKU versus UC Claremont game, and I watched a few minutes of it, and I said to myself, "Man, I hope UC Claremont doesn't beat them tonight, because if they do and we lose to them, this will be horrible."
Those are the only 2 wins for NKU. They have beaten UC Claremont and UC.
Does that mean UC? Oh, man.
They got beat by 20 by Akron. They got beat by 20 by Florida Gulf Coast. And they got beat today by UT fucking Arlington.
Let's not tell Xavier fans about that.
Michael, there literally is a rule in college for flopping. That's why we had technical free throws in this game.
Yeah.
They were called for flopping. They don't give warnings anymore. They go straight to free throws.
You get 1 free throw, and then the ball just resumes wherever it was at the point that there was the flop.
We should have flopping rules in football too. I'm looking at ECU.
People in the chat who are saying that the game wasn't that close, though. It was that close.
It was.
Arizona was. Arizona. Well, to be fair, Arizona was up 18 with 90 seconds to go.
But
and
then
UC
they weren't.
Scored 10 straight.
All I'm saying is they beat the betters.
They did.
They beat the betters.
Thank you, Josh Reed.
Big
out. They were not down 15 the whole time until the threes at the end. That game fluctuated between 7 and 15 the whole game. UC would get to 15 or get to 7, and then Arizona would get it back to 15, and then UC would get to 7, and Arizona would get it back to 15. Now, if you want to say, did they ever get it to 7 where it felt like, all right, here they go. They're going to make some stops, and they're going to get on a run, and they're going to get this thing within 1 possession? No, I never felt like that. But let's not over-exaggerate. We're dumping on them enough. Let's not over-exaggerate the facts of the situation.
Solid point. Luke says he gives Wes 3 years. Is that what he says here? Gives him 1 more year. He gives him next year. So that's 3 years. I think you have to give Wes at least 4 years.
Yeah, so you're judging him on his first year in the Big 12, the best college basketball conference in the country.
Yeah, maybe you don't even give him 4 years. Maybe I give him more than that. Yeah. I forgot about the move to the Big 12.
Now, hypothetically speaking, this offseason should provide more talent in the transfer portal because they are going to the Big 12, and they should have a lot of minutes to give out. Right? This year was a problem. I can assure you, this year was a problem with some of they were in on a couple of the top transfers on the market, but they didn't want to play a year in the American.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, and Luke, respectfully, I'll disagree. Wes has not had 2 years to bring his guys in. He had 1 offseason, and he had 30 days in the other offseason.
Yeah.
He still has John Brannon's guys, and it's not quite the same. Did you strike out on Kalu? I think collectively we're all agreeing right now.
Yes.
What we've seen of Kalu.
So far,
correct.
Yeah.
And Rob
Finney, you can probably make the same argument.
I guess here's the problem with Rob. he's been exactly like he is who we thought he was. He's a guy that can't play offense. He's an excellent defender. He does a great job. Like, if you were able to pair Rob with John Newman, you would have elite perimeter defense. John's out. So Rob is left. Rob plays very, very high-end perimeter defense. But offensively, so far, he's been a 0. He averaged like 7 points a game, 7 points a game at Indiana in the Big Ten. If he was averaging 7 points a game, 8 points a game right now, we'd feel pretty good about Rob.
He refuses to shoot.
Yeah, he's not even. I don't know if it's like trying to find your comfort level. Look, man, the rest of these guys suck too, Rob. Go get you some points. Shit.
Marcus makes the point that we made earlier. Core of the team is still Brandon guys. First year recruiting classes, 2 top 60 kids. Skillings and Reed have looked great. Agreed. But yeah, I mean, when most of your guys are DeJulius, Davenport, Adams Woods, even Vic, those are all Brandon guys.
I'm not really worried about Wes, if we're going to be honest. I'm not worried about him at all.
Thoughts on Hensley playing 2 minutes? Josh Reed stole his minutes. That's the whole, like, play the young guys. Dan played 19 minutes tonight. Josh played 16. They are being given the opportunity to increase their role. So far, they have taken advantage of that opportunity. I think they do need to be a little bit more offensive-minded as their role increases, because I think both of those guys can be really good on offense. Right now, they're trying to, like, find their way back. Oh, boy, here we go.
Not my guys is loser talk. Right now, we're losers.
Right, they're losers.
I mean,
I don't know what else you want me to say about the last 3 games, Bearcat 12. They've lost their ass off. They've lost at an elite level. They lost to a shitty Northern Kentucky team that can't beat UT Arlington.
We are losers right now.
As an NKU alumni, I have to say, go Norse.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck them kids. And that's where my money goes. But
so yeah, Louisville obviously 0-5. You gotta get.
You can't lose this game, man.
You have to get a win.
You can't lose this game against Louisville. Not in this situation.
I gotta do something.
If Louisville's 3-2 and like, you know, like whatever, they're 0-5. They almost lost to Chaminade. I watched some of that game today against Texas Tech. They were falling all over themselves, like just throwing the ball out of bounds. They are disastrously bad. So if we have to, Aaron, if we have to do the BBP in the nightcap tomorrow night after a loss to Louisville, I might let Kelly do it. I might just let Kelly do the 2 shows.
Well, I may have arranged to where I can actually produce for you tomorrow, by the way. We'll talk about that later.
If he has electricity.
Get out of here. I'm driving to Cincinnati tomorrow.
We'll be fine either way.
But
I might have Kelsey do the show.
Oh, that would be awesome. Kelsey and her Squishmallows.
Maybe I have Ed fill in.
Wah, 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 wah.
Aaron will let you smoke a cig.
He didn't let me smoke a cigarette last night. I needed a cigarette.
Oh man,
I can't believe you guys did an nightcap after that game last night. I had a hard time staying up for it. But anyways, what I was going to say,
clearly you didn't know Josh Reed played.
Shut up. Louisville's so bad was really bad. So what guy is going to step up tomorrow and just be lights out on Louisville's team?
I don't know any of their players because they all suck.
It'll be one.
Oh no, I know one. Previous priority John Brandon target, JJ Trainer.
Dang.
The JJ Trainer.
I thought you were going to say
I just spoke it into existence.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
The Wizard.
No, we want Chad to be on tomorrow, and the toxic drama is going to be so epic, and Chad will lose his shit. That's from T-Win.
Oh, if they lose to Louisville tomorrow, my shit is going to be lost. There will be shit all over these walls. These walls right here will be full of shit.
It's weird.
Wasn't that the line from "Don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood"?
I think it might have been, yeah.
Be shit all over these walls, Ray.
I had an inspiration there.
Oh man,
Master P's son is on. Is that you?
There was an ad that popped up on my phone.
Gotcha.
Is Master P's son on Louisville?
Yes,
dude.
Hersey Miller. Yeah, he was a walk-on at Xavier last year.
No limit.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Make him say,
Maybe that does fit. Like the guy that was a walk-on and couldn't play at Xavier.
That's what it is. That guy's going to go lights out. That guy's going to shoot 12 from 12 behind the arc.
Hersey Miller's going to get buckets tomorrow.
Yeah, he's going to get all kinds of points tomorrow. Hey.
You made it.
You don't look very happy. Hey, buddy. How you doing?
What have we talked about so far? All the
We're still on basketball.
Wonderful, oh, dear God. Okay.
Jeff, come back. Jeff, come back. Okay. I'm going to tag out. You can tag in. We can move on.
Bye, Chad. By the way, I see T Gwen's in the chat. This was because of you, bud. This was because of you.
Oh man,
I feel like it's lightened up.
How awful! Wait a minute. This is what. Are we at least talking about last night, this morning, as opposed to this afternoon?
We just talked about all of it.
We talked about all of it together. Okay. We're almost done with it, I think. We determined that Master P's son is going to be lights out tomorrow. He's going to destroy UC because he was a walk-on at Xavier last year, and now he plays for Louisville.
Louisville.
Make him say, "Oh, man, this ain't P."
All right. Well, I mean, my thoughts are just that it's like, I don't know that and you guys probably touched on this enough, but like the consistency level is just so frustrating. The lack of like Cincinnati basketball defense, like the things that,
man, you're just hitting all the points.
The things that we're like so used to as fans, and like this is, okay. As of like recent years or whatever, I guess you have more of a football school, but like we all know that like at its core, like UC fans are basketball fans. Like the basketball team is what drove UC fandom for a very long time, and to see it struggle is painful.
It hurts
to know that like what it is right now is not what we all envision or want it to be. Obviously, like the kids that are on the team, like they're not going out there and purposely like the things that are happening aren't because the kids like don't care, aren't trying. Like this is an issue of like there's a talent ceiling there currently.
I could keep her,
and it needs to be like raised up. The talent level the ceiling needs to be lifted a little. I think that's coming in the future. I know I'm trying to hit lots of points all at once since I'm late.
Wes did say that you may see Sage's red shirt taken off in the near future in his presser.
Okay. And I'm all right with that. I think, see what he's got. He could be a big that we sorely need down there.
What if he's the lightning strike?
I mean, that would be great, but like Locken can't really shoulder the load as like the sole big dude down there that is, you know, I mean, he can't play every game the whole game and know that if he gets into foul trouble, like there's not the support behind him.
Yeah, he played 18 minutes tonight, and every time he was off the court, you certainly notice it. I mean, Kalu only had 8 minutes. Odie had 13.
Did Kalu do anything tonight?
1 for 3, 1 foul, 1 turnover, 1 block, 2 points.
Okay. And like, for instance, last night, you know, Vic goes up, he's playing hard, goes up, comes down and lands on his hip. And, you know, I mean, if he goes out hurt, like, that's
real bad.
Real bad. And I do want to, like, I'm bouncing around doing all these things. Last night, I was very happy and impressed with, like, the things that there were several times in the game where, and I said this amongst us in our DMs, and like, yep, blowout loading, like, here it is, like, it's about to happen. And then they, you know, they fought and clawed back, and then they're, you know, next thing you know, it's like 10. They were able to get over that hump a little bit towards the end, but then it kind of like stretched out again, and then they came back, whatever. And then Josh Reed broke the hearts of all sorts of bettors across the United States in the last, like, you know, 30 seconds or whatever. So like there were some good things to take out of the game last night, this morning. None of that translated over. I feel like they're not obviously a team that right now is built and able to do what they did last night into this morning, and then that was a dog, and then repeat the same kind of effort and intensity, you know, less than, what was it, 15 hours or something like that?
Yeah, 15.
So they, yeah, okay, Ohio State had an extra like 2.5 hours.
2 hours, yeah.
Like, you've got to be able to have a level of consistency that doesn't have the peaks of last night, this morning, and then the valleys of losing to NKU or getting, you know, I didn't get to see the game against Ohio State today, so I don't know really
you didn't miss much.
Those are huge peaks and valleys.
How deep the valley was. Was it NKU 11 points in the second half bad?
No.
But let's just put it this way. We just realized on the show that Jeremiah Davenport had 2 threes at the beginning of the game, and then he only had 2 points after that, and both of them were technical free throws.
That's not good.
Yeah, it's not good.
So, I think the stuff that you see on Twitter, I'm sure Ed might like touch on it. It sounds like he's got some kind of social media segment that he wants to hit on. But
funny,
like the full-on attacks on like Wes, I think are a little bit crazy.
They're a little premature, I think.
We've talked about, you know, he needs to have time to get his guys in to implement the system that he likes. I can see the point that trying to force your system into guys that don't fit into it is a little bit also hard-headed, maybe. Take that for what it is. I think we need to wait until he gets his guys in, a full set of his guys with the time, and then make a judgment call.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the clock is, I won't say ticking quite yet, but I think we're reaching for the clock to set the timer.
Yeah.
So, I also agree with Geeks and Guns that if we're going to take the red shirt off of his name, I can't.
Sage.
Thank you, Sage. That we do it tomorrow while they're in Hawaii.
Do you know why that's important, Ed?
Because it's in Hawaii. Because that's where he came from. That's where he was born.
Okay. I just wanted to. You didn't know his name. I didn't know if you knew his heritage.
Come on, man. Expect me to remember a lot of crap over
his
here. His
name.
Look, I got Kalu's name. I got Zepe down. All right, leave me alone.
Unreal. Yeah, I don't.
Jeff's.
I'm not.
I'm also not.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about basketball anymore. I don't think. I think that's. We're 45 minutes into the show.
Tomorrow against Louisville. I'm disregarding that. I'm just saying tomorrow against Louisville is. I mean, if there's a get right game,
it has to be that one.
0-5 really bad Louisville is as get rightable a game as there is.
If we lose to Louisville tomorrow, what do I do? Like I have to do something. Like right, like
shave your beard.
No, that ain't happening. That ain't happening.
How many votes over here in chat do we have to get for you to shave your beard if they lose to Louisville?
No, I'm not shaving my beard.
What about just the mustache and you could be Amish?
Just the mustache.
Yeah, we could do that.
All
okay,
right.
and then I'll do the opposite. I'll shave and leave the mustache.
Okay.
And Aaron has to full shave his head.
No, my hair's too long right now. I'll do something with the facial hair though. It would just have to come after Friday.
You gonna color it?
You gonna do like a?
It would have to come after Friday when I have to
family pictures.
No, I mean I have to be presentable as a person of the media Friday for the game. Can't be walking in looking ridiculous.
Yeah.
You got to do the Hulk Hogan. Just shave the middle and leave like the handlebar. Is that
Chad dropped my idea in the private chat, but we'll leave that up for people to wonder about.
All right.
Okay. And what are we on to next?
To a circle beard. How you doing it, Joe?
It's on the sheet, Jeff.
Oh, I didn't get to the sheet yet.
Jeff.
Bearcats beat Temple 23-3. It's the last time I get to talk about this before I have to listen to Dave and Chad discuss it tomorrow night, and then the Rock of Truth discuss it potentially Thanksgiving night. I'm not sure. There's a blanket moving around behind you there, Jeff.
Yeah, it's a
Ghost?
5-year-old. My 5-year-old daughter.
Not the
Have your kids been off of school all week?
No, they're off school starting tomorrow.
Might have been off all week. It's been rough.
But she's been sick for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. So
every kid's sick forever right
now. Oh, I didn't know Rock of Truth went tonight.
No, they said they were going to. They are recording tonight, dropping the episode tomorrow.
Gotcha.
Huh.
Very good. So Temple was played in front of a reported crowd of 14,000. Looked to be played in front of a crowd of 14.
Tens.
It was played in the Eagles Stadium, Lincoln Financial Field, and it looked like a barren wasteland.
I flew over that field last week.
It looked like a COVID game.
I cannot wait to be out of this conference.
You would not see that.
Empty stadiums.
Yeah, you will not see that in Lubbock, in West Virginia, and I mean you're not going to see that in these places. Just
you won't.
It's hard.
True enough.
But yeah, they obviously Ben Bryant gets injured. Evan Prater plays. The running game didn't quite get to where we wanted it to be, but it was somewhat reestablished. It's still a little bit. It's still a struggle, though. They are forcing it, and I don't blame them. But you did see Ryan Montgomery lead the rushers with I think it was
58 yards.
58, yeah. You saw Kiner get in there for 8 carries. Although if he doesn't jump, he probably scores.
Yeah, we talked about that too. If he follows Wiley, like why? I mean, when you put Wiley in at fullback, like the whole purpose is to follow him. Like he's gonna make a hole, and if he doesn't, maybe then you jump over his back. I don't know, but like to veer off to the left and try to. I get it. Like that's the exciting play. But the more beneficial play is to just get across the goal line. other than that, I mean, 8 carries, 36 yards for him, 4.5, average 4.5. So, and a long of 21. So not bad.
Yeah.
Not good. Not great either. Not good.
They found the tight end again. Wiley had 7 catches, 70 yards. I was very happy with that.
Yes, we've been talking about it all year. Like, you've got
an NFL caliber tight end when you have an NFL caliber tight end on your team.
And obviously Lenny Taylor didn't play. He started off I guess he was injured.
Right.
Or had some kind of tweaked something, or I don't know what the specific was. I just saw that right before the game. It was published that he wasn't going to be playing. So they didn't have Lenny. They did have Josh, and Evan was, I think, a little quicker to check it down to him on some routes.
Mm-hmm.
So, if that happens to be the case coming up on Friday, maybe that's the what are they, the security blanket.
So obviously defense played very well. You only gave up 3 points, which that's fantastic. I read this on the nightcap right at the end, but I'll read it again here. These are all the scenarios that the tiebreakers and ways that the championship could go.
I was going to read that. Okay.
Beat you to it.
Can you put it up on the screen, Ed?
Actually, I think I can. I think I saved it.
Is it? I think Chris Vanini. Was it Chris Vanini?
It was. Yeah, it was Chris Vanini.
That did all of the hard, ridiculous work to go through the tiebreakers as to what.
And while Ed's doing this, UCF loses to Navy and only drops two spots.
Yes, ridiculous.
What are we doing here?
How does that happen? If UC loses to what are they, 3 and 6? Oh gosh, hold on, I see a finger wag.
I'll tell you exactly how it happens, Jeff.
We're leaving the conference.
No, ratings. So guess what? The ratings last year for UC Houston were off the charts. Why? Both of those teams are ranked. Well, but they were ranked for a different reason, because Cincinnati was playing for a chance to get into the college football playoff. But now, as long as UCF beats USF in the war on I-4, the American Athletic Conference championship game will be between 2 ranked teams in the CFP rankings. So that's why they do that. If UCF drops out, there's a process to get them back in for next weekend.
So then why don't you drop them to 25? And I mean, I get it, they beat UC, but they also lost to Navy. Recency.
Well, because you just who's number 25, Jeff?
I don't know. I didn't get to see it. I just saw
Louisville.
Huh?
Louisville is number 25.
Oh.
Who's Louisville's biggest win this year?
I don't know. I didn't follow.
I honestly didn't remember that Louisville has a football team.
Yeah. UCF in week 1.
Oh.
So Louisville props up UCF.
I hate it all.
That allows UCF to stay in the rankings.
Chad. I hate it all.
It's so obvious. It's so obvious what they're
joke
doing.
Rankings are.
I hate it all.
It's such a rigged, but the way the system is rigged now, the same way, this is exactly what happens with the leader in the Big Ten West.
Yeah.
Every year. Wisconsin or Iowa or somebody that sucks ass is 7th, so that when they're 9-3 or 10-2, and they're 7th, so that when they play in the Big Ten championship game, whoever the winner of the East is gets to beat the number 7 team in the country. That's what's happening now between Tulane, Cincinnati, and USF or UCF. Sorry,
even though Ohio State, Michigan is always the championship.
And also,
well, yeah, but that's what they have to do, Aaron. They have to give them the sacrificial lamb in the championship game so that they can beat another top 10 team, even though that team sucked ass all year long and they have no chance of beating Ohio State in the championship game. But Ohio State beat number 6, Iowa.
The Big Ten West leader is Iowa, who lost to the worst team in the Big 12.
What's Iowa in the CFP?
Are they in there somewhere?
They have to be. If they're going to win the Big Ten West, they have to be. Hold on.
They are not.
Really? I'm shocked. There's nobody in the Big Ten West in the CFP rankings?
You got Ohio State and Michigan at 2-3. Penn State at 11.
That's a first. They were so bad they didn't even give them a chance.
They're 7-4.
Well, yeah, that's okay. That's if they were 8-3.
If they scored 3 touchdowns all year.
If they were 8-3, they would be 9th in the country.
They have losses to at number 2 Ohio State, at Illinois, at Michigan, number 4 Michigan.
And what are you doing?
And then
Nothing.
Iowa State beat them at Iowa in the second week of the season.
Oh, baseball bat.
I know you're over here stroking your baseball bat.
That's not what was happening.
No, that's exactly what was happening.
No, I was putting it back.
You were doing this off screen.
I was trying to put it back gently so that it wouldn't make noises.
And I guess there's a possibility if they lose to Nebraska this week that maybe Purdue ends up as the Big Ten West.
Well, I mean, it's the worst case scenario for the Big Ten West. But usually there's a Big Ten West team that's got like 3 losses and they're ranked like 8th in the country.
I mean, it's wild.
With wins over no one.
It's how the system is written.
Right.
So
we complain about it every year. We wouldn't even complain about the fact that UCF dropped only 2 spots if it wasn't UCF, and we don't hate them. It doesn't matter. Like in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter because UC needs to win to get into the AAC championship anyway. Otherwise, there would have to be
no.
There would have to be some crazy things happen for them to end up in the computer rankings. If at the bottom,
if UCF played a average to mediocre game and beat USF like at the gun, that would impact their computer ranking, right?
Not if they only dropped 2 spots, losing to Navy.
Aaron, hold on. Let me finish. If UC and Tulane play an epic game at Nippert Stadium,
here comes Dark Horse.
And both teams prove like we're the best 2 teams in this conference in that game. Now, all UCF has to do is beat USF, and they are in the conference championship game because the conference championship game, there's no BCF, there's no CFP rankings next week. So if UCF, if Orlando Tech is in the rankings this week, they are automatically essentially the opponent of the winner of Tulane and Cincinnati. Now, Tulane and Cincinnati, the loser cannot be the other team unless UCF loses to South Florida.
So stupid.
It's always rigged. There's always a reason. You just have to dig down and find the reason.
UC needs here.
UC has to win. Period. Win.
Not a side.
So this tiebreaker doesn't mean it. So this stuff these tiebreaker things don't matter. Then if Tulane beats UC, USF beats UCF, Tulsa beats Houston.
Well, if USF beats UCF, it changes things because UCF lost.
Okay.
That's the only thing that changes things if UC loses.
But how does that? Okay.
Because then their ranking in the college football playoff wouldn't be like solidified because they lost. The way it works is they are ranked at 22, and if they win, the assumption is they're not going to drop, so they stay whatever, like wherever they were ranked in the prior.
Why is there no CFP next week?
They wait for a week.
Thanksgiving.
It's weird. Like it's an American Athletic Conference tiebreaker. It's part of how the American Athletic Conference decides who plays in the championship game. I guess part of that is because the rankings don't come out until Tuesday, and they can't wait until Tuesday to determine who's playing in the game.
So there's still rankings that come out next week that change.
Yeah, but
got it. I understand.
They don't matter for this exercise.
Okay, so it's
so if UCF wins against USF, they are in the conference championship game as the road opponent against the winner of Cincinnati and Tulane. If they lose, it's like LeBron and the.
So,
in the dust.
Still, what it comes down to is UC needs to win.
Win and you're in. Lose and you're very likely out.
Win to get in and to protect the NIP.
We must protect this house, Jeff. Maybe
you
for
don't
the last season. Maybe for the last season.
You don't want to be.
Must protect this house.
You don't want to be the team that lets an AAC opponent stop the streak.
Right.
You don't want that.
Yeah. Weird shit will happen next year. But as long as you're in the AAC, handle business at home.
I mean, I got all the confidence in the world. I think this defense is going to be. I mean, we all know.
I mean,
defense wins championships. Go ahead.
We don't know who's playing quarterback.
We don't. Per Luke today, that has been put out on the Twitters, Bryant's going to have limited reps this week, limited practice, and it's a game time call. If he can go, he's going to go. He's the starter. Are there any arguments to that?
No, I'm just saying we don't know who's playing quarterback this week. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I think we kind of go into it thinking that it's. I mean, Dave and I talked about it on Sunday, and I said that Ben can probably get away with mental reps this week, while whatever is going on, if he can get through it, he can get away with mental reps this week. He has the experience. You need to give Evan probably more reps just to make sure.
Well,
and
Ryan said that they'll probably practice this week as if Evan was going to be starting, only because Ben doesn't need those reps because he's gotten
absolutely not
those reps all season. So
right. So you want to give Evan some, and you also want to give probably Brady some reps in there somewhere. Because if it comes down that Evan is the starter, that means Ben can't go at all. And you can't roll in there with only one quarterback.
Yeah, that's not that's not fun.
I mean, I know we're getting really into the weeds, but you have to look at kind of the worst case scenario. We all hope that it doesn't come to that. But if that's what the scenario is, then and we've said it before, like this coaching staff is, I have all the faith in the world that whatever decisions they're making, whatever prep work they're doing this week is going to be, what needs to happen. I mean, can you look back in the last, I don't know, like 3 years and say that there's been a game where you fully believe, like a game that we lost, where you fully believe that it was because we weren't like prepared properly? I mean, I'm okay if you say
No.
yeah. Like,
I can't think of one.
I just can't. There's just not one off the top of my head where I'm like, oh yeah, like they totally dropped the ball all the way across the board here.
I was thinking maybe Alabama, but it wasn't lack of preparation. It was just lack of execution.
And getting beat. Just flat getting beat.
Bigger players and all of that. Georgia, you should have won.
Yeah. And that, I mean, that, I wouldn't say that was a lack of preparation. I mean, I think we talked about it way back then.
Arkansas was a lack of execution.
Yeah, I didn't think that they weren't like prepared at Arkansas. I don't know.
UCF was, you knocked out the quarterback that you probably could have beat.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I'm sure Chad's probably listening. Chad, can you
not
think
on
of
purpose?
One? If you're still, I don't even know if he's still around.
He keeps his headphones on.
So I just think the coaches are going to have it squared away with however it needs to be, and they're going to come out and
you got to beat Temple. Yeah, you got to beat Temple before you're worried about the championship.
Tulane.
Tulane. Sorry. Yeah.
You already beat Temple. Whew.
Yeah.
But yes, yeah. I mean,
it's going to be a challenge.
No two ways about it. You can't. And Tulane's a good team.
Really good.
Like this is not like a walk in the park kind of like. I mean, I think it's going to be, every bit the fight that.
Michael Pratt's a good quarterback. Tyjae Spears, really good running back. So yeah, no, it's you got senior night. You got what appears to have become today a sold out NIP. So bring the energy, bring the thunder, get a dub on senior day.
Bring in the noise, bring down the house. We came here to turn the party out.
Nope.
It's an old NSYNC song.
So ESPN has it at 58% Cincinnati, 42% Tulane on the matchup predictor, and I've got to think that mostly comes down to venue.
What's the spread?
I tell you guys, I lost $10 last week.
The pick center here on ESPN has it at UC -2.
Very close.
I tell you guys, I lost $10 betting last week in Pennsylvania.
I think you did.
I bet on the Eagles game on Monday night.
Not good. The over/under is 46.5.
Are we Reagan asks, are we concerned that Nippert isn't going to be Nippert because it's the day after Thanksgiving?
No, I think from what I mean, as long as the students that can't go really sent their tickets back in like they were.
God, I hope that was
asked to do so that people.
I'm proud that was a thing. I'm proud of Cincinnati for making that a thing. Like, hey, please turn in your tickets if you can't go. We want to give tickets to the kids that can go.
I mean, I think the other the beneficial thing about UC is I want to believe that a lot of the students are local. And
I hope there's plenty of adults there that are still feeling a little buzzy from Thanksgiving. Just carried it right over, got back on that horse at 8 a.m. and are screaming their entire lungs out of their body. Like, I want to see lungs leaving throats and just
if I didn't have to work, I would be there. My brother-in-law is coming up from Chattanooga. My other brother-in-law is going to be up from Kentucky, and they were scrambling to get tickets as I guess there was a Black Friday sale that popped up today.
Yep.
And they managed to get their hands on 3 tickets, and so they will be there. And they're loud individuals. So it seemed like tickets were kind of like when that sale went up, like tickets were flying off, and I hope that they are all UC fans that were picking them up.
I think they should start selling standing room only tickets as well.
Just put out this pack. Just
fill it up.
Who cares if it's above like the whatever the fire rating
code
is? Like, who cares?
Is there even a fire code when you're outside anyway? I mean, what's the fire code when you're outside?
I don't know, because that stadium isn't really like your typical kind of stadium. So there's exits everywhere.
Yeah.
Just get out.
They're gates. You just push over. It's fine.
I think Nippert will be Nippert.
I hope so.
And if not, Aaron's going to go streaking in front of the student section and get them all
won't.
yelling.
That's what's going to happen.
Sure won't. All right. Let's talk about my favorite game of the weekend.
USA versus Wales.
Yeah.
I could not be less interested about a World Cup in Qatar. The Cincinnati Bengals beat the Steelers.
But I have stats on the World Cup.
Okay, we can talk about that later.
It's in the lightning round, so you'll have 1 minute.
Are we just going to leave Reagan's comment up here for the rest of the show, by the way?
I forgot.
Steven, it's at 20. I don't want to hear it.
I took it down and you popped it back up.
At this point, Ed, anytime you hit the sound, it's going to wake up Steven's dog.
Steven's dog. I mean, Steven, I care about your dog. I really do. But I don't know what else to do.
So the Bengals beat the Steelers 37-30 in a weird game.
Very weird.
Steven also doesn't want to hear it.
I, of course, love anytime the Steelers lose. The period. When it comes at the hands of the Bengals, inject that into my
short-handed Bengals.
Yeah, short-handed Bengals is
I mean, we talked about it. We said that, like, is there going to be another game where Joe Burrow was as bad as he was the first week?
He finished 24-39, 355 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks, 2 sacks. Samaje Perine put on a show. Becoming the first running back in Bengals history to finish with 3 receiving touchdowns. Joe Mixon was knocked out of the game with a concussion. He finished with 7 carries for 20 yards, but Perine had 11 carries, 30 yards, 4 catches, 52 yards, 3 of which were the aforementioned touchdowns. T. Higgins, 9 catches, 148 yards. Huge day for T. Higgins, bounce back game. They got it done.
It did. It was great to watch. Like, it was, because I said at the beginning of the game, I tweeted out, because I mean, I knew that Mixon wasn't going to get 5 touchdowns like he did the week before the bye week, but I was still hoping like the running game would be there, and it was kind of at the beginning of the game not there. Like, he couldn't find the holes, but they came through in the second half, and it was beautiful. Anytime that we're winning, and then at the end the Steelers need to start taking cheap shots, is a good day for me.
You also had Drew Chrisman averaging 50 yards a punt on his 3 punts.
Let's talk about Drew Chrisman.
That was nice to have a punter capable of averaging 50 a punt. Right?
Flipping the field was important, and there was a couple of clips from the they put the Bengals mic'd up sounds of the game or whatever came out today, and there were after the punt that he hit that they muffed into the end zone, and the guy was like, I don't even know who the return.
He had to bring it back out of the end zone, almost got a safety.
One of the guys like ran up to Chrisman on the sideline, like, way to flip the field, way to, hey, that's important. Like, I guess you kind of take it for granted until you like are on the edge of your seat every time you have to punt, and you're like, is this going to be a 23-yard punt? Please don't be a 23-yard punt. Like, hit the ground and roll. Please just hit the ground and roll.
Yeah.
And now it seems like, obviously it's one game, but he did look like a serviceable punter.
I think that Kevin Huber's days are over.
I don't think they release him this week because of Thanksgiving, but I think they do release him next week.
Yeah, I was a little surprised when they made their move for the offensive lineman. They cut him after he had just
Prince.
Yes, thank you. They cut him right after they had activated him back to the 53 man.
They did that with
Irwin.
No, there was somebody else earlier this year that they activated him off of IR and then released him, and it had something to do with like the ability to go to another team. Or
was it Akeem Adeniji?
I don't remember who it was. They brought somebody back from IR and then released them, and it had to do with their like the ability for that person to then sign with another team and like play immediately. There was something. It was like a very player helpful kind of like move.
In any case, you love to see a win over the Steelers. I feel like they're in complete shambles at this point.
And I love it.
TJ Watt had.
Do you think this is his last year?
TJ Watt?
No, their coach.
Tomlin?
Well, you have to mention who you're talking about when you ask a question like that.
Sorry, I should have said something. Do you think this is Tomlin's last year?
No. Like coaching?
For the Steelers.
He's not old.
I don't
for the Steelers.
I don't think the Steelers get rid of him.
No.
I don't think that.
Is this his first losing? He hasn't had a losing season yet, right? Last year he almost did. Is this his first losing season?
I mean, last year didn't they still make the playoffs?
Yes.
So, yeah, why would you fire him?
Yeah, I don't think that. I think they realize that there's like there are issues that go beyond the coach.
The quarterback has small hands.
Like you didn't even say his name either.
Kenny Pickett.
I was a little disappointed we didn't get an interception off of Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, and then like when you bring up interceptions, and like the interceptions that Burrow threw, like the one gets tipped, and
those were you could control
like an amazing diving interception
at the line of scrimmage,
and then the other one you've got TJ Watt getting manhandled by Lyle Collins, and he somehow reaches all the way like over to one side. Like
physically, it didn't make sense.
It didn't. I had no idea. I also
Lyle
didn't
Collins
realize
is
that Joe
starting to turn
Burrow.
around.
I also didn't realize that Joe Burrow ranked so high in like batted balls.
Makes sense.
I forget who put the stat up. He was like something like close to 4% of his passes are batted, which is like up at like the top end of the
league.
Yeah.
Weird. Wouldn't have guessed that. We called that game a must-win, though, and the Bengals did indeed win. They still sit one game behind the Baltimore Ravens, who they are now up to. The Bengals are 6-4. The Ravens are at 7-3. As for the wild card, the Bengals right now are the last team in on the wild card, being third place there. I still think you got to get 11, but I did see where Joe Goodberry ran some simulations, and in every simulation, the Bengals were able to get in with 10, sometimes even 9 wins.
I honestly don't think we beat the Chiefs on December 4th.
I don't want to play that game, Aaron.
No, I think you won 11, but the schedule gets harder from here.
Yes,
as you don't have the Steelers any longer sitting in front of you. This weekend they go to Tennessee to take on the 7-3 Titans. You follow that up with a homestand starting with the Chiefs for a Sunday afternoon game, and then you host the Browns, including a reinstated Deshaun Watson at that point in time. They're at 3-7, but we'll see. After that, you go to Tampa Bay to take on Tom Brady and the Buccos. Patriots host the Bengals in week, I guess that's 16. Monday night, the following week, you host the Buffalo Bills, and you round out the season hosting the Baltimore Ravens.
And really, like, depending on what goes on between now and then, that Ravens game could end up being like
huge.
Like for the division. I mean, I know that's still an uphill battle. Like
every team that you're playing going forward has a better record, as good or a better record than the Bengals, other than the Browns, who are getting their $250 million quarterback back. in Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So
So you got 7 games left, and you need.
I was just
4.
counting them.
4.
I don't think we could beat Tennessee.
Do we want to play? Do we want to play this game?
We're gonna do this. Ed, you gonna write them down?
You gonna write these down? Because we did it at the beginning of the year, and I don't remember. Like I'd have to go back to
Nope. We'd have to
watch
listen
it to
find it.
So, are you ready to write, Ed?
I'm pulling up sticky notes right now.
Okay.
That way, if I shut down the computer, I don't lose it. All right. So, Jeff.
All right. Titans win.
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 Okay, so hold on. Let me just do this then. In F and Aaron.
What do you say, Ed?
Oh, that's a win. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Next one, Kansas City. Oh, that a loss.
I'm going loss.
Win.
Ooh. Okay.
We're in Patrick Mahomes' head.
I don't think we are, but that's fine.
He lost 2 in a row to us last
Look
year.
at the stats that
Team
Travis
was
Kelce's
better
putting
last
up.
year.
Okay, next game.
Browns win.
You have to win. You have to win that game.
And to win. I'm actually gonna put that down as a win as well.
Buccaneers
Loss.
win.
In for Jeff. I'm going with a loss as well. So Aaron and Ed.
Patriots
Win.
I'm going to go win.
In Gillette, Christmas Eve. Ooh. It's going to be cold.
Then you have Buffalo.
At home.
On Monday night.
On
Loss.
Monday night. Loss.
That's a loss.
I don't
And then-
want primetime games anymore.
And then we have the Ravens. And depending on how things look, I'm going to go with a win.
I'm going to go with a loss.
Win as well.
And we get in on a wild card, 10 wins.
And that puts us, I believe, that my prediction will put us at 11-6, which was my prediction from the beginning of the year. So let's go Bengals.
I feel like I had them at like 13-4 or something stupid.
Do you see this thing? Like we do this, and do you see like there's somebody at the beginning of the year, guess some like Jets fan like
flipped a coin,
and it's been correct thus far.
That's crazy.
All right, it's on sticky notes.
Uh-oh. Ed's got receipts.
That's fine.
I closed it, so I won't open it again.
He tried to say that I
Hey, did he tell us Kalu was the next Eric Hicks or Jason Maxiel?
No. I think Chad said that he was built like Eric Hicks.
Okay, you're gonna go off the tweets from earlier tonight. All right, that's fine. No, it's all right. That's all right. I'm not gonna go back. Oh, hey Chad, how's it going?
You really want to go there?
I never said your name. I never said Chad Brindle. I said Aaron.
He did say Aaron.
We both saw him, what he looked like. We reacted to what he looked like. We hadn't seen him play.
Aaron told me to pull up video to watch him play.
Did you?
Yep, I remember doing it on the show.
Did you think
So
he
you
looked
watched
like Eric?
like
Hicks?
1 8-second video? You can't manage to watch the games that we have to talk about every week. You were on the plane when Josh Reed made his Bearcat debut, weren't you?
I was on the plane.
The plane.
Where were you last night when he played for the Bearcats and you watched him play?
It was 11:30 at night. I don't remember.
I have a better comparison than Eric Hicks for Kalua Zikpe.
Oh God!
It's the kid who does this. It's the kid who does this and then disappears from the GIF.
Yeah.
And Landers Nolly watches him disappear.
Got nothing.
I'm just saying. You know what GIF I'm talking about, Ed?
Yeah, he sent it last night in the group.
Ed fell asleep and didn't see Josh Reed score or that he was even in the game.
No, I watched the game. I watched the whole game. I had a Mountain Dew beforehand. Which group text was it?
I'll send it to you right now.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we're done.
That wraps up Bengals talk.
Yeah, we're done with all of that.
Steven, hold your ears.
I think the Crypt Keeper wanted to know how much do we think the Rooney family pays the referees union for those calls or no calls. The referees were horrible Sunday.
They were not good, but they weren't.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, when it's the Steelers, you got to know that immediately Twitter's going to light up with refs in bumblebee costumes. So.
All right. So Ed, did you watch AEW?
I did not watch AEW. I did read some recaps. So first off,
wait.
Well, go ahead.
So
go ahead.
You read recaps of AEW, but you didn't check the box score of NKU, UC, or what was the other game that you missed?
I missed the Temple game.
And UC Temple.
I was at the zoo.
Unreal.
Anyways, do I get a minute or what's going on?
If you got a minute.
It may not take the whole minute, but we can do this. There's 15 people watching.
Timing it, right?
Timer, jeez.
Right. Now.
So I listened to MJF on Pardon My Take this week. I guess it was last week. I don't remember when it was. But he came on and said that whole thing, if you guys remember, where he kind of called out Tony Khan, said he was the worst owner in wrestling history, that he quit and everything. That was actually a real thing. He told Tony Khan that he was going to come out and talk his mind, but he did not tell Tony Khan that how much he was going to say. So that was a real thing. He actually did not wrestle. He did not show up at AEW for about 3 months and then confirmed that he has a $1 million contract now. But then also said that contract only goes until like 2024, I think is what he said. And that he could go to WWF after that. But of course, after that interview, he went out on Saturday night and won the AEW championship against John Moxley, who, I think we all knew that was coming. I think we knew.
And time.
I don't think we all knew that was coming.
You didn't know that was coming?
No idea. Oh, all right. Into the lightning round. Don't hit the button. You're gonna blow Steven. Okay. Close your ears, Steve.
This one's not as bad, actually. I got the first one. Looks like Qatar. The World Cup is in Qatar, and what? Why are you laughing?
I got the first one.
That's what it says on the list. Anyways, the World Cup is in Qatar, and of course, in Qatar, they announced about 24 hours before the World Cup started that they are not going to allow any beer sales. Sorry, Budweiser, all that money you spent advertising.
$100 million.
$100 million in advertisement in the 24 hours before. They're like, hey, we're not going to serve beer. Although there are areas where they are serving beer. It's not inside the stadium, but there is like a fan area
fan
where
village.
But 2 fans three fans, I think they were English fans, were trying to find this beer and ended up at one of the Qatar sheiks' houses.
Yeah, they were playing with like a pet lion.
They were playing with a pet lion. They were cutting it up with them. They were checking out his Lambos and stuff like that, just randomly. And then they put it on TikTok. It was hilarious. Next. Okay, that's me again. World Cup numbers. This tweet from Jonathan Tanwald says Fox says that United States men's national team versus Wales drew 8,306,000 viewers. I guess you don't need to know that information, but the top 5 markets that people watched: Austin, it's number 1. Number 2, Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm telling you guys, soccer is alive here in Cincinnati.
I mean, they just built a brand new stadium here for an MLS team that
I know, but you guys okay.
Do you have any plans on going to Reds Fest this year?
Not at all.
Not a single one.
I don't have plans to go to the Reds Stadium.
I'm still on strike. I do not want Reds gear for Christmas again, and it hurts. It hurts.
I think the only way that I'll know anything about what's going on with the Reds is by following at Clay Snowden.
I like Clay. Yeah. Where else are you gonna go if you don't go to Reds Fest?
I don't.
It's a Saturday. I'll probably go to soccer.
I still think
not the zoo.
I still think Nick Kroll is a PR nightmare. Regardless, I mean, he just can't explain anything that doesn't make it sound like, you know, we should just go watch the Florence Yalls.
Nick Kroll?
Yeah.
Except he's actually decent at his job.
Yeah, but he can't. He's a
just
horrible
don't put him,
PR. He's a PR.
Don't put him anywhere near a reporter.
No.
Well, but this also, and I'm glad you brought up Reds Fest. This is a good point. We haven't had Reds Fest in a couple of years, but usually the week before Reds Fest, the Reds make a move. What's that move going to be?
Trading Jonathan India.
He said that their number one goal is catcher depth. So
trading Jonathan India to package Moustakas and get Moose out of here.
Just trade everybody.
Seattle's open for business.
Bring up the Dayton Dragons. Let's just bring them up. And they can wear their uniforms too.
Sorry. Do you have any other?
I do have one more.
Okay, go ahead, Ed. You can go
from the World Cup Sunday. And guys, I've tried to validate this story, and I found video, and I've only seen, I think, Barstool retweet this, but Ecuador, one of the players for Ecuador, it was Ecuador versus Qatar on Sunday, opening game of the World Cup. Apparently, he faked an injury on the field because he saw that there were police officers showing up to arrest him for unpaid child support. So he faked an injury. They put him on a stretcher, and then you see the video. There's about 7 police officers chasing after. Oh, it says 13 in the tweet. 13 police officers chasing after that cart to try to catch up with him to arrest him for unpaid child support. Wild, right?
Pay your child support.
You guys didn't know the World Cup was this entertaining.
I didn't.
Jeff's turn.
Yep. I hope Chad has his little counter ready. I'm really excited this week to see what the uniforms are going to be for the UC Bearcats. But last week,
all whites,
the icy whites, the Stormtroopers, when they announced it, yours truly, my tweet was front and center on their uniform reveal. And I was like, that's very confusing. Why am I somebody sent me the thing and I was like, man, why is my tweet in there? I clicked it and I realized that's actually me in their tweet.
When do you think we'll see Cincinnati go all whites again for both the Bengals and the Bearcats in the same weekend?
In the same state.
I actually never put 2 and 2 together. You're right. They both went all white this weekend.
Sure did.
And it looks good. I kind of hope this week that they go red helmets, black jerseys, red pants.
Ooh, all red, huh?
We haven't had red pants this year.
No red jersey, said black jersey.
Yeah. I mean, if they went all red, have they ever gone all red, Chad?
Yeah, they have. I'm not sure when. My suggestion to the powers that be for senior day was all black, white face masks. I don't think they've ever done that.
Oh.
All black, black on black on black is nip at night, right?
Right.
Oh.
Conference championship game, black on black on black, white face mask. Let's try something different.
Well, this isn't the conference championship game yet.
Well, but I mean, it's for a spot in the conference championship game.
For senior day.
Yeah.
It's also not at night because the game's starting at noon.
No, well, yeah, whatever.
I would be on board with
My
all
brain
black
doesn't work right now.
Kind of. I
all
want to
black
see what
with
that
white
looks like.
face mask.
Jeff, can you Photoshop that for me so I can see what it looks like?
All black with the white face mask.
Yeah, I might be able to whip something up.
Maybe
That
you
would
do
be-
that and then you tweet it to the Bearcats. And...
I think their decision's already made, but that would be pretty sick. I did see somebody tweet it out, and I don't like. I'm sure it was a mock-up helmet that somebody had made, but it was a matte black helmet with the matte black C or a shiny C, like a glossy C paw on the side. That looked pretty sick. I don't think
You think
it's a
someone
real.
sicker
I don't think
than
it's a real like helmet, and it would be an awesome nip at night helmet.
I missed the helmet variations. I feel like they haven't
I'm
done a ton
huge-
of those.
Like I love the uniform thing. I get into it. I love the all whites, obviously. I think that they just look clean.
They're clean. They're so clean.
It's awesome. I could have done with black face masks with the all whites, so it would look a little more stormtroopery. But I'm down with what they did, and yeah, like. But to Aaron's point about the helmet variations, like they had the one helmet that had like the slashes in it. You remember that?
Yeah.
It's like the red
Yeah.
helmet and it had
Yeah.
the slashes in it. And then didn't they have a helmet that had like the
triangles?
The best helmets UC has ever worn
The
were the
triangle
Belk
ones
Bowl
were sweet.
helmets. The Belk Bowl helmet, the red Belk Bowl helmets.
Did it have the triangles?
Yeah,
The one that
Yes.
Travis lost.
yeah. Those are the best helmets UC's ever worn.
All right, Ed. What you got on the New Heights podcast this week?
So I listened to the interview with Zach Ertz, and those guys, Jalen Hurts. Sorry,
Zach Ertz used to be a tight end in Philly.
that's what I was thinking.
but
Sorry.
it's Jalen Hurts, the quarterback.
Those guys could do an interview. Those guys do a great interview. I thought it was
They're going to
awesome.
be longtime stars in the
They're-
media world.
They are. And then
Period.
I saw last night that Patrick Mahomes did agree to come on. So
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes is going to be on the show. And that's the frog voice. Jeff got it. Thank you.
I knew what you were trying to do, but that was the worst impression I've ever
Patrick
heard.
Mahomes will be on the show.
It's so bad. It's so
It's,
bad.
it's not horrible.
It's
Anyways.
horrible. It's so
Anyways.
So you guys want something exclusive, funny?
Yes.
I joked with Jason after that game. Like Jason and I have a running joke about Kelsey being named after Jason, but claiming Travis. And I said, tell Trav I need a pair for December 4th. I'm not getting my ass kicked because I named her after you. And he sent me the laughing emoji and he said, haha, fair enough. Basically meaning Kelsey wants to go to that game. She
I
wants
saw you
to
said
wear
that.
her. She wants to wear her Travis Kelsey like fucking gear and get my ass kicked.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
So I
Yeah,
told
well,
Jason, you're going to
yes.
have to get me tickets. And he laughed and just said, you know, basically, yeah, right, sure.
Gotcha, Chad.
new
About
film,
how-
new dis.
It's about how I expect that conversation to go.
Yeah. He laughed at me and was like, he patted me on the head and was like, yeah, it's cute.
Syracuse St. John's game was going to be really good. But yeah, I mean, it's just a great podcast. I'll have more next week.
That was deep.
They're outstanding. They're really good at it. They're really good at it.
Like, it made my plane ride to Philly feel like 45 minutes. It was great.
Those were Ed's thoughts on the New Hype podcast. It's good.
Aaron, I'll do better next week.
You said you were introducing a new segment. Are you really introducing a new segment this week, or are we getting out of here?
I realized about 15 minutes ago that I should have done this segment during when we were talking about UC basketball, because it really has to do with UC basketball. But here's some of the comments that I read on Facebook during the game tonight. Nancy Zimfer has wrecked this program. We will never recover. Apparently, we're still
a long time since them days.
Yeah. Thank you. The season is over. It's not even December yet. We should have Danny Fortson. Doesn't Danny have an extra year of eligibility? And then somebody
that's a great joke. That's a great joke. Because
they were serious.
Danny left. No, they're not serious.
Okay.
Danny left after 3 years, went to the NBA, and has an extra year of eligibility. Technically, it's a joke.
Wouldn't there be a lot of people who have an extra year of eligibility then that when like
Danny Fortson would have been the second leading scorer in the history of the program.
But this guy still thinks that today's basketball is the same as it was back in the mid-90s.
Danny Fortson would still be awesome. Did you watch Zed Key today?
He's also in his 40s.
Zed Key was Danny Fortson.
Huh.
Zed Key could barely jump over a piece of paper. And he put 19 and whatever on the Bearcats today.
And then somebody put up a poll asking who's the better coach, Wes Miller or John Brandon.
Oh no.
And you could, and on that poll, you could add extra coaches. Who do you think the next coach was that was added to that?
Bob Huggins.
Yep. Can we drop it now? Can we get over it? This is God.
They brought up Nancy Zimfer, Ed.
They brought Nancy Zimfer, and then they brought up Bob Huggins.
They are not ready to let go of Huggins.
Yeah, so that's definitely something I should have done when we were talking about UC basketball. So that's on me.
That's okay. You did good work with that. I like that segment.
Thank you.
I hope that you expand on it next week.
Now, next week, we're going to do more on New Heights.
All right, bum of the week.
Because you're training like a damn bum, you know that? Bum. A bum.
You are a bum. You're a bum. And that's all you'll ever be. A bum.
Well, that hurts, man.
All right, bum of the week this week. I think it has to be George Pickens.
I have a different bum, but
as Pittsburgh kicks an onside kick, Tyler Boyd recovers it. He's just laying there, and George Pickens says, "Helmet to the face."
Loud.
And then after there was a kerfuffle on the field, I think that's the appropriate term for what that was.
It wasn't quite a Donnybrook.
No.
You guys still haven't explained this to me, but go ahead, yeah.
But then Pickens went back at Boyd like he did something wrong and just goes and shoves him again. Like after he was called for unnecessary roughness, he goes and just shoves him again at the end of everything.
Eli Apple did some kind of like
I was gonna say that was my bum
dance. Like it was
Eli Apple not trying to fight and just doing.
No, I'm good with that. There's no need to fight when you can just you just won the game. Like there's no need to like do anything more. The other guys took care of pulling Pickens back and making sure that he wasn't going to keep going after Boyd. So,
which again, I don't know what Boyd even did other than catch the ball. That
and
made Pickens so mad.
And then lay on the ground and take a crown of the helmet shot to the top of his head.
But Steelers are going to steal her.
Steelers are going to steal her.
My bum of the week is going to be Umar Ballo for shoulder checking Andre Morgan on the floor yesterday.
Yeah,
like he's a coach. He he shoulder checks him, and then Courtney Ramey like hit DeJulius in the shoulder, and
I don't even know why Julius got teed up. Like,
no, he
what did
through,
he
like,
do?
the middle, and then they like pan back to Ramey when they came back from the break, and he's like pointing at himself like, me a technical? Why? Like, you know why? And then Chrissa, like, he reminds me of Diego
Guevara.
Yeah.
How about the Chargers fan that after the Chiefs beat the Chargers, they threw a fellow Chargers fan off a bridge?
I didn't hear about this.
Didn't hear about this.
Yep.
I'm surprised this has not happened in Cincinnati.
No, yep. They were upset with the fellow Chargers fan. Apparently there was a disagreement, and they just took the Chargers fan in. They were both Chargers fans. It wasn't like a Chiefs fan.
Did he
They were a
die?
Chargers fan off a bridge.
It's like a bridge into water.
It wasn't a super high bridge. I will say that.
It was Sophie Stadium, where there's like those fake, like the water features and whatnot and what have you. But there was a disagreement, and they took a fellow Chargers fan.
Is it called SoFi Stadium?
I don't know what the fuck it's called.
Also not a
Sophie,
Donnybrook.
SoFi, yeah.
No,
it was just a
disagreement that ended with somebody getting thrown off a bridge
into a pond.
It wasn't even that. It was concrete.
Oh.
Yeah, that's worse than being thrown into a pond, by the way. You get thrown into a pond, you can swim to safety.
Yeah, you can swim.
He did not do that. He just looked up like, what the fuck, guys?
That's my bum of the week.
I feel like you guys would throw me off a bridge.
Get us out of here, Aaron.
That's going to wrap it up. That was another episode of Pardon the Punctuation. Thank you for all of those who tuned in tonight. We will be back here next Tuesday night at 9:15. But for Ed, for Jeff.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
For Chad, I'm Aaron.
That's the turkey.
We're out.
Why?